What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Krazy4KVs Podcast here. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button and the subscribe button. If you're listening on your, whatever your favorite podcast platform is, go ahead and follow, subscribe, whatever it is, just so you don't miss them. Podcasts don't come out super regularly. Try to do about one a month. It has been almost 2 months since the last one, so figured we were due, get you guys caught up on some behind the scenes stuff. And give you a little sneak peek into what's to come. We always kind of start with a channel update. Like I said, I've said in past episodes, this is kind of for me, but if you care to know, we're at 442 subscribers. Today's May the 2nd, and a little over 2,000 watch hours. So that's awesome. Kudos to all of you that have watched YouTube videos, your subscribers, engaging in comments, things like that. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. It's the only reason I keep going, because it is a lot of extra work to do the YouTube thing. But it's been fun. It's not, arduous work or, super tiresome. It's just making the time, kind of planning things out. It does take a little bit extra thought, at least. Let's see. A lot of times we'll start with, new gear, new things like that for the channel. No updates. I am looking at doing some sort of wide angle lens, just so I can do a little bit better benchtop stuff, get the truck in, get me in. You guys are going to see a little more of the room than I care to. I don't have it set up as some, fancy studio or whatever, but, I would like to not have to, hold the truck up or do a dual camera setup. So do a little bit wider angle and hopefully be able to catch the whole bench, whatever truck I'm showing off and the like, or whatever I have on the workbench. It would also just be nice to have, another option for, taking pictures or whatever it may be. Looking at, I think, an 11 mil, because the lens I currently have only goes down to 16. So I think an 11 would be pretty good. The next portion of the episode is, I kind of talk about recent videos. It's been almost 2 months, so quite a few videos have come out. My last episode, I talked about some upcoming events. I did the Georgia Rock Zombies Wet and Wild down in Columbus, Georgia. That was awesome. I didn't do much recording, just tried to enjoy the day. Kind of thought maybe I was going to record more, but I didn't. It is what it is. But also have East Coast Championships coming up, and that kind of ties into upcoming stuff. So currently we're in the middle of a competition truck build series, building a C2 truck to take to East Coast Championships, first competition ever. I'll go ahead and link up here the video series I'm doing on that. Go ahead and subscribe just so you don't miss those. But we're doing a Artful Dodgers Ground Fox V2 on a Phoenix Portal kit. We're running pretty nice electronics, a 10 shooter stubby from Holmes Hobbies. We got a Mamba Micro X in there. That might be changing. More on that later. We got a Reef's internal spool, 300 comp spec winch, and running a cliffhanger body, and quite a few other little details. Some Krupp Carbon Works bumpers made out of titanium. We got a titanium roof plate with the G-spot, kind of the pulley system to do like some side hill winching. A few other like scale details. But yeah, it's been pretty good. It's been a really fun build so far. It's kind of fun trying to figure things out. Even kind of a turnkey option like that Ground Fox, it does take quite a bit of tinkering, messing around, especially when it comes to like shock tuning, your weight of your oil as well as your springs. So I'm running Dravtex from Deluxe Fab on there, and those are really, really nice. Very happy with those. Hopefully they don't leak. Everyone says they don't leak. Fingers crossed. But yeah, besides the comp series, we've kind of had a full series of an A1 build, which is the RC Speedy A1 chassis. That's also built on a Phoenix. Keep an eye out on the channel. The first run's going to be coming very soon on that. It's really fun. Few tuning things I need to do to it. But that first drive was awesome. The whole build was awesome. Again, we'll put another link to a series up there, and you guys can check that out as well. But come back and finish the podcast, because there's some spoilers, there's some sneak peeks, there's things like that coming. Let's see. Typically I talk about, like, YouTube, new products, things like that. There's been so much in the last 2 months. I could spend an hour talking about it, but we'll probably just skip it. There's a lot of really good stuff out there. I know, just for honorable mentions, without putting anything together, Reefs came out with their 800. I think it's a low profile, plug and play. It's not direct power. It runs off your BEC. Really nice winch. Kind of nice to see Reefs kind of bumping the power as far as your plug and play options. ProTech's got their 1000 or 1K TBL. I mean, Reefs obviously has the 900 and the 1100 Smart, but to see a low profile option in that 800 ounce inch range is really cool. I see Reefs and NSDRC, they kind of go back and forth, not actually, but you can tell they're, pretty stiff competition with each other. I think NSDRC has a 700 ounce inch low profile. That might be a direct power though, but it's kind of cool to see, people pushing the envelope and, cranking the power up on even those smaller form factor servos. There's been a few cool new trucks come out. I think the Team Associated, that little MT12, kind of this little scale monster truck, is actually pretty cool. Something I might pick up, pretty inexpensive, I think around the $200 mark, but tons of other stuff. Not throwing shade at anything else. It's just, it's almost too much to cover. We do have some upcoming maintenance upgrades that I need to do. I've got a bunch of parts since the last episode. I've got a lot of things in, stuff for the A1, stuff for the comp truck. The comp truck's really been the main focus the past few weeks. Trying to make sure it's done. Booked my hotel, ready to go. Took off work that Friday, so I'm going to be at Cherokee Rock Village Thursday night. Well, I'll be at my hotel Thursday night, and then I'll be there all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then part of the day Sunday. I'll come home. I go back to work Monday. So it's about a 4.5 hour drive for me. So I'll stay most of the day Sunday, get home that evening, and probably just dump everything in the garage and unpack Monday after work. But really excited. But it's kind of crunch time on, getting everything sorted with that truck. It is built. It's running, the body's painted. You guys would have just seen the first running footage. Still some tuning to do. I'm going to talk about that here in a second, but it's been fun, but it's been busy. Recently just went on my honeymoon. Got married 6 months ago. Decided not to do our honeymoon right after, just, to alleviate some back-to-back stress of just, international travel. Went to the Dominican Republic. Beautiful country, awesome time, very relaxing. But, it was 7 or 8 days out of, working on RCs, filming, things like that. So feeling like I'm a little bit behind. So really trying to push to kind of get the video repository built back up. But yeah, so like I said, we do have some maintenance upgrades I need to do. You guys saw in the comp truck video, I kind of talked a little bit about shock tuning. I put the springs, I kind of changed the springs out. I think I have firm up front and mediums in the rear. The rear is really light, especially where the shocks are at. The truck right now is about 6 pounds, a little over 6 pounds. It's almost perfect 60-40. I think it's 51-49% left to right. So almost perfectly balanced left to right. But if I ran a 3S pack, it would probably be perfect. It's a little heavy on the battery side because I'm running a 4S 850. The 650s and 4S are unavailable. I'm just committed. I'm going to run 4S. I have a direct power servo that can take 4S, so that's what we're going to do. And that Mambo Micro X can do 4S as well. and I don't mind the extra wheel speed if I need it. Yeah, I was talking a little bit about shock tuning. So I did some shock tuning before I filled them, which is kind of a mistake. So I went ahead and put 35 weight fluid in there, kind of just guessed. They're a pretty big bore shock, those Draft Techs, compared to a lot of other scale shocks. And they, you know, you don't need as heavy a fluid in a big bore shock like that typically. I think 35 actually might be still on the heavy side, especially with those springs. So I might go back to soft in the rear, medium up front, and see how it does. The shocks work okay. I just wish it was a little bit softer. But, you know, time will tell. I'll take all my shock tuning stuff with me. I'll probably take some 30 weight fluid, maybe some 40 as well. And, you know, if I need to do some tuning Friday at the course, you know, I'm going to be doing mostly practice on Friday, just kind of getting a feel for the truck. I can do it then, or I can do it in the hotel Friday night. But I also need to kind of assess or, you know, attack the drag brake problem. In that first video you guys saw, the truck's drag brake was pretty weak. And I thought maybe I didn't have it turned up right, you know, on the ESC settings. Confirmed, it is turned up all the way. I did have the drag brake ramp, I think set on fast. So I bumped it up to very fast. I don't want it on immediate. You know, if it's the drag brake's not strong enough, it's just not strong enough. I don't think it's how fast the drag braking, you know, engages is the issue. I think it is just a matter of the strength of the drag brake, and that is really less of the motor thing and more of the ESC. That's a pretty heavy truck for that ESC. So I might have to look at potentially going down in gearing. If I think I have an 11 tooth pinion on there right now. See if I can get a 9 on there, if I even have a 9. I know I have a 10. I could potentially do a 10 or a 9 and then go underdrive front and rear, help the motor out in the ESC, or I may potentially have to put a copperhead in it. I do have a spare copperhead, you know, for another project, but I can order a different one later on. Either sell the Micro X2 or just kind of shelf it and keep it for something else. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the comp truck. I feel pretty good. It drives really well. The front weight bias is awesome. The weight's really low. That's the benefit of a VFD. You know, carbon fiber rails, things like that. The shocks are really laid down. It'll stand up basically perfectly on its back bumper and won't fall backwards, which is nice. I like that. And I can still reverse out if it gets stuck like that. Side hilling is really good. The overdrive is pretty aggressive. I'm running high overdrive. It's locked in high overdrive on that VFD. So it's quite a bit, but I think for competition purposes, it's pretty close to where I want it. I wish I could bring it down a little bit. If I go to a different ESC and the drag brake improves with a stronger ESC, which it should, I potentially will just do underdrive in the front, and then hopefully kind of slow that overdrive and get it closer to the, you know, 35-40% as opposed to, I think 46% is what it is. Yeah, first drive's coming out for the A01. It's been done for a while. I've been dying to drive it, but finally got it out. Did a little bit of testing, just kind of a first drive on it. Awesome. Fusion Pro, man, those motor ESC combos are buttery smooth, plenty of power, I think. You know, maybe not for a competition, but plenty for, you know, scale crawling, even like a buggy like that weighs quite a bit. And I did get some D's Company shock bands. I got 90s, metal buckles on those. They're kind of an elastic limiting strap basically, but that length, the 90 millimeter is length fully extended of the elastic. So, you know, the idea is mount those with your shocks and it'll keep everything pulled down, but the vehicle can still articulate, but it's going to want to stay sucked down. You guys will hear, but I mentioned in the A1 video, I'll just repeat it here. Kind of jinxed myself when it comes to those SAD shocks from Vanquish. Said that I've never had a set leak, and I was talking in a Facebook group commenting that I'd never had those shocks leak, but when I brought the A1 out, I realized that the shocks were all blown and leaking pretty bad. They all seem like they're pretty empty, so don't know what I did wrong. Maybe it's the lack of springs, the weight of the truck. It does sit on a cell block, so it's not under, full compression, but yeah, so I need to do a rebuild on those, potentially look at some different shocks. It's the only set I have that's just completely leaking. A few have, seeped out a little bit, maybe, now that I started looking at them more, but still like the shocks, really like the look of them. Nice low profile. They look probably the most scale of any of the other ones that I have, so I will still use them, but they're not perfect. So we're to the portion of the podcast that I feel like most people watch it for. If you're anything like me, I'm impatient. I don't really like surprises when it comes to, the YouTube content that I follow. So any teaser, sneak peek, things like that, even, Proline or, these RC manufacturers that do these sneak peeks on Instagram, I love looking at them, trying to figure out what it is. And maybe I should do a little bit more of a teaser, but, I just like giving the podcast, kind of a peek behind the curtain. And, but we have some upcoming stuff. Some's not going to be a surprise, but some stuff, hopefully will be, and I think it's going to be pretty fun. So we're talking about upcoming videos, stuff here on the channel. So obviously East Coast Championship, I think is the 18th through the 21st. I'm going to be there 19th, 20th, 21st. So I'm going to be doing some recording of my testing on Friday. Potentially might run a course or two on Friday, but Saturday is kind of the main class 2 day, and I'll definitely do some recording that day. I'm not going to drive one-handed, so I got to figure out how I'm going to record. I don't know anyone else going. It's not that I don't trust anyone, but I'm not going to burden them with recording me and, making sure that it's done at least the way I want it done. I don't want to be able to blame anyone but me, basically, if it doesn't get done right, or, the record button doesn't get hit. So going to do some recording of, my testing, do some hotel recording of any changes I make. And then, we're going to possibly do a live stream from the hotel Friday night. We'll see. Maybe if I'm doing some wrenching, got a laptop set up that I should be able to do some live streaming from on my GoPro. And yeah, it should be fun. Kind of follow up. We'll follow it all up, and then there'll be kind of a summary recap video, and would I do it again? Things like that. I suspect that I'll say yes, but maybe not. Maybe it'll go terribly, and I'll feel like I wasted a bunch of money and time, but we never know. Other than that, we have 3 first runs coming up as far as trucks that I've never been driven. 4 including the comp truck, which you guys have just seen. So the one is the A1. The other 2 are trucks that have been talked about, but you guys have not seen yet. The one is my Ultra, which I got in my Trucks of Fortune from Vanquish. Kind of rounds out my, Vanquish collection of vehicles, at least of what you can buy right now. So I have an Ultra, I got a Pro, I got a couple of Phoenix Portals, various platforms, but I do have just a regular Phoenix Portal as well. And then also Phoenix Straight Axle, which hasn't been built yet, but will be soon. Additionally, I also have been talking about a brazing project, kind of a truck that I built or was going to build around the intention of doing some brazing for it. Well, that truck is done. Brazed up a front and rear bumper for it, and finished the body. It's been done for a little while, about a month or so. And took it out for its first run. Nothing crazy, not a super high performer, but the truck looks really good. The paint job, very simple, but I think it looks pretty cool. And it was fun to get it out and finally run it, and bang the bumpers on some rocks, and cringe and hope they don't fall apart as a first brazing project. So keep an eye out for those. The cool thing about that project is it's not super high end. It's an Element builder's kit, with some RC four-wheel drive tires. It does have some Vanquish bead locks, but you don't need those. You could do some plastic bead locks or just some glue-on wheels, or maybe some RTR takeoffs. It does have a Fusion Gen 1 1800 kV, but you could just as easily throw, a brushed setup with a 1080 or a Fusion SE in there, which is also 1800 kV. It's got an Eco Power servo, pretty budget friendly servo, 400 ounce inch, plenty of power for a truck like that. But the truck's really fun. It just kind of shows you can still have fun with the hobby. You don't have to spend, $1,000 on a project. You can get in for $400-$500, kind of have everything together, and then, spend a few $100s on the tools to do some brazing, and you can make yourself, custom sliders, bumpers, roll bars, cages, whatever it is. And kind of let your creative juices flow. All right, moving on. So this is the upcoming stuff. I've been talking about a hard body build for a little while. That's what the Phoenix straight axle is for. I did have intention of doing a Toyota extra cab from RC four-wheel drive. They're hard body extra cab. Those are really hard to get. They've been back ordered for a few months. Got tired of waiting, and I found the 4Runner available. And really the main difference is, obviously, it's got a cab. It's a single cab truck, essentially, and it's kind of got like the camper shell. Toyota guys are probably cringing because it is an SUV. There are seats in the rear, but essentially you can remove that, shell, and it is pretty much a truck. But this one is an 11.4 wheelbase as opposed to that 12.3 of the extra cab. So I will need to get some links. I already have the hard body here. So I need to get some links to shorten it up. Got to get some shrink RC 3D printed body mounts, kind of adapter plates for the VS410 to that body. I'm going to be running 80 millimeter shocks on that. So really scale, really small. Probably like a 3.85 inch tire. I think I'm going to try out some Boom Racing Pro Build wheels. I'm pretty sure I have the style picked out. Haven't ordered them yet. All that's probably going to be happening after the competition. I just don't think I have time. I may go ahead and get the chassis built, transmission, the axles and everything. I also have the aluminum F10T, very Toyota scale axles for that truck. Kind of tie it all in. Not going to be running leaf springs, at least no intention of it. Maybe I'll convert it later. Not going to be a very high performing vehicle, so it would be kind of the perfect one to have at least leafs on the rear, but nothing in the works on that yet. But I'm excited. I'm going to try to take my time, do a good job assembling the body, detailing up the interior. Gotta learn, how to do that properly, best ways to paint it. Probably going to do like a brown tan interior, and not sure on the body color yet. Probably some sort of flat, maybe a military green or a flat red or something. Something a little more faded, rustic looking. No plans of doing any weathering. Just don't think I have the time, patience yet to knock that out. Another upcoming project, already ordered and pre-ordered and paid for, is the Cross RC WT4. And I'm going to share my screen with you guys and take a look at it. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty cool. We'll walk through it. Okay, so here we have the Cross RC WT4. It's a rollback wrecker, kind of a rollback tow truck. Really, really cool. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go larger with these images. Looks to be a hard body. I did check the dimensions. The bed width looks to be wide enough for most 10 scale, or what we call 10 scale trucks. I'm pretty sure like a VS410 or a TRX4 will fit on there. It's plenty long. The width, depending on your tires and your offsets and your wheels and stuff, it'll be close, but it definitely looks to be a little bit wider than the Traxxas hauler. And I think it looks a little bit better too, a little bit more appropriate. It does have a working rollback. So it's got I was checking out the manual, which has already been released. If you're interested, I'd go ahead and do that first just so there's no surprises. But yeah, the rollback does work. It says it can, I think the rollback works with up to 10 pounds on it, which is pretty cool. Here you can see another interior I'm going to have to, use my patience on to detail up. I think the tire and wheel choice is just perfect. Looks really, really good. I know a lot of guys don't particularly care for cross RC. I've never had one. I think, for a truck like this, they're kind of perfect. They're usually really, really detailed. There are some YouTube videos of it running, just like little teasers, but the only caveat I will say to warn you guys, it is 2-wheel drive. So it's not 4-wheel drive. So you're not going to turn it into like some off-road recovery vehicle. It's definitely intended to be, an on-road recovery. If you want to do off-road, the TRX4 or TRX6, ultimate hauler is probably a better bet. But I do intend to put a RC 4-wheel drive winch back here. They're super strong one. It says it can pull like 50 pounds or whatever, and just kind of have some fun with it. Not exactly sure how I'm going to detail it. Probably try to do something different, as opposed to this box art paint scheme. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really fun. It comes with a motor. It comes with, well, let's go back here. You can see here, this is everything it comes with. So you get, these are your dimensions, 445 millimeter wheelbase. So it's big. The flatbed length is a little over 1.5 feet long. So, and then it's almost 1 foot wide. So you're talking, I think it's a little over 11 inches wide. So that's pretty cool. You get your body, you get a motor, and you get a 2-speed transmission, which is kind of cool. I doubt the second gear will get used much. But you need an ESC, you need servo. You actually need 2 servos. One for shifting and one obviously for steering. Remote and receiver, that's no big deal. And then the other stuff too, the battery charger. If you're looking at something like this, you probably are, already in the hobby and have, these 3 things. Probably going to look at putting a pretty good servo in it just because, once you get a vehicle on there, it's going to be, got quite a bit of weight on it. And then ESC, not exactly sure. Probably go with a 1080, and a very high turn 550 can motor. I'll probably upgrade the motor. We'll see what it comes with, but yep, there you go. Confirmed ABS plastic body, scale engine, scale interior. It's really detailed, and honestly, for the price, I didn't think it was bad at all. So like I said, pre-ordered one. I'm not sure when they're coming out. I think I saw someone was selling one on eBay, or Cross is selling them on eBay, and it says estimated delivery in June. So that could be coming real quick to the channel. But that one's probably going to get backburnered just for a little while until I get a little bit more time, finish up the 4Runner build, and then I'll work on this. And or maybe I'll do them simultaneously and do a little more of a cinematic video to unveil them. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. There you go. There's your final dimensions. The truck is 778 millimeters long, which is a little over 30 inches. So it's going to be almost 3 feet long. It's going to be huge. It might have to live in the garage just because I don't want to take up that much space here in my hobby room. But enough about that. Let's move on and kind of wrap this thing up. So the last thing I want to talk about is I'm going to be doing a speedrun challenge. I'm actually really excited for it. I heard about it on the Scale News a couple weeks ago, and it's being put on by RLAARLO or RLAARLO. XOK's RC has done a few reviews of their vehicles, very kind of budget friendly vehicles, but they came out with an on-road kind of speed car platform, and they're kind of, sponsoring this speed run challenge, built around their platform, I think, to, build some excitement and a sense of community, spread out across the internet. No matter where you're at, you can kind of feel like you're, a part of something and competing. So we'll show you, so I'll share my screen again. We'll kind of go through, what RLAARLO is. I'm not an expert on them, but kind of what they have to offer, and then we'll get into the speed challenge stuff. If you're listening to the podcast, driving or whatever, I recommend coming back to the YouTube and watching this, this portion and the last portion, just so it doesn't feel like I'm, leaving you guys out. But I'll do my best to describe and kind of read the details of this speed challenge. Okay, so we're here. We're on the speed challenge kind of homepage. So I'll just go to RLAARLO's homepage, and we'll look at their RC cars. They kind of do it kind of nice. They kind of sort them by speed. I think Arma does that as well. But they've got all sorts of stuff. They've got these little buggies, the 1/14th. So you can kind of see you get a brushless RTR for $250, which is really hard to beat. I know XOK, he seemed like he liked them. Seemed like they were pretty good for him. Parts support, obviously you're not going to go to a local hobby shop and find anything, but you can order parts here. If you want to get your replacement parts or some option parts or whatever. Yeah, they got all sorts of stuff. They've got some truggy stuff, which that looks like they do have a desert truck that looks like it's coming out soon. I don't think it's going to cost $1, but and then they've got some monster trucks as well. And if you're looking to get your kid an RC car that is hobby grade technically, you can get parts for it, but you're not going to be able to go into a hobby shop and get some stuff, but it's going to be really, really affordable. Might be something to look at. Some of the stuff, 40 kilometers an hour. The little buggies do, I think, 80 or 100. All right, so the challenge I'm going to be doing is right here on this homepage, and I'll post this link down below. You can find it on the homepage. If you scroll to the bottom, they're calling it their supercar challenge. And they've kind of got 3 challenges built into one, but I'm just going to be working on one of them, basically. So what we have is we have a speed run challenge. And for everyone listening, I'm just going to kind of quickly read this. They have a registration period. I do need to kind of figure out what I need to register. I bought a car. It's ordered. I think it's like 10 to 15 days before it'll be here. But you have until the 20th to register of May. So about 2 weeks left. Following that, from May 20th to June 5th, there's a qualification race period. And that is you got to hit 80 miles an hour to qualify. They do have their rules down at the bottom of this page. So as far as, rules for filming and kind of, proving that it's legitimate, it has to be done one take and an unedited video. So that'll be fun. And then it's got to be done via GPS. You got to show a zeroed out GPS. The boss is back. We'll just go ahead and show these here. You got to kind of talk through your electronics, ESC parameters. I don't know how detailed they're going to want you to go, but probably just like your specs of your ESC, the motor you're using, the battery you're using, your GPS installation, and then, zeroing out the GPS, as I talked about. You gotta, like I said, reset the GPS, show it being reset. It's kind of redundant. This is all translated from Chinese, I'm pretty sure. So, some of the translations are a little poor. After the pass, without turning the video off, take the body off, show the, the batteries are the same. You got to show the balance wire just so people can see how many cells are in it. Motor ESC, and then show your GPS reading on camera. The car has to stop under full control. And then, there's a few others, you can make 3 attempts, which that just means once you're actually in the challenge and you've done qualifying, you can upload 3 videos. So if you upload one and get beat, you can upload another one. You get 3 tries to win that round or whatever it is. But so that's all kind of talking about the qualification. And then June 9th through June 19th, you have your group stage. So after qualification, they're going to lump people into groups. And then that's where you want to try to be in the top 3 to try to make the finals. And the finals is going to be from June 26th to July 6th. So this is running for a while, but it's pretty cool. First place is going to get $5,000 US. Second, $2,000. 3, $1,000. And then 4th through 10th are going to get their newest desert truck, which is pretty sweet. And then 11 through 30, I think that's probably just all competitors that make the finals. I feel like they're going to have 30 people in the finals. They'll get like some swag basically. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I have a 2200 kV hobby wing, and then a max 8. That's what we're going to run in this. I'm not going to throw $1 million at it. I just think it'd be fun, kind of a break from the crawlers for you guys and me as well, and just see if I can get a car to do 100 miles an hour. It's a short wheelbase. It's a 10th scale speed car. I'll actually show you the car now. There's a look at it. It's kind of a the speed racer style, but they claim it'll do up to 200 kilometers an hour, which is moving pretty good. I don't suspect it'll actually do that. So you can get it in a bunch of different configurations. You can get it brushless RTR with a carbon fiber chassis, just $400. You can get it brushless with a aluminum chassis, $320. You can get a brushed RTR. You can also get a carbon fiber roller for $223 and a aluminum roller. I actually went with this one because I already have the electronics to put in it. I got a radio. I might get a GT5. I've been looking to get a GT5 anyway, just because of the gyro, and I might get one for this just because I think a gyro is going to be necessary. But that's a separate purchase for other things. That kind of wraps up, where we're at. Lots of stuff coming up, the hard body build. We got the WT4, which is going to be probably a pretty big project, probably a very involved build, especially when you get into like doing the interior on both of those. Going to take a while. Got most of the stuff for the hard body build, a few other odds and ends I need to get. Do need to get the winch for the WT4, that rollback wrecker. And then the speed run, I have most of the stuff for as well. So hopefully no like big purchases coming up. Trying to save up to buy the new camera lens. Kind of keep things in check a little bit, stick to a hobby budget. It's been kind of crazy lately. A1 comp truck, they kind of stacked up pretty quickly. So, but anyways, I'm super excited. I do have a pretty challenging class coming up, so we're going to stick probably to one video a week, just to keep myself sane, but I'm going to use that as my break from school, from work, and hopefully roll out good content instead of rushing to try to get 2 out every week, which I was doing for a while. Stuck around to the end. You guys obviously now know basically what you're going to be seeing for the next few months. If you like what you're seeing, if you like what's coming, or you're interested, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, hit the like button, drop a comment. If you'd like to see me do something, or there's a vehicle or a truck you've seen on the channel and you haven't seen it in a while, let me know. I do intend to do some, different shootouts. We did the 4-vehicle, 4-gate shootout. And that was actually really, really fun. So I want to do some variations on that, kind of stack some trucks up against each other. Obviously, tire choice, foam choice, all that stuff matters. It's not just the chassis or just the platform, but it's still fun to see, what one truck can do and what, the others can't, vice versa. So without further ado, I'm going to leave you guys there. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys next time. See ya. Coming up here real soon, like I was saying earlier, you guys are going to see the first drive on that A1 finally go. You can see my dog here. Say hi to Bear. What you doing there, buddy? What are you doing?